Welcome everyone, Gamer King Tario here with another PlayStation Vita review. Today we're going to look at the new release LEGO Lord of the Rings. Now, I have a very odd relationship with the LEGO franchise. I don't find their gameplay particularly interesting or engaging, but I own every one outside of the Harry Potter ones, and I love them all. There's something continuously charming about the stress-free gameplay that I find irresistible in small doses. You combine that with my favorite movie series of all time, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, and we have a dream come true. LEGO Lord of the Rings Vita is released a couple weeks before the console and PC versions, so we'll have to wait and see if there's a significant difference between the two, like there were between LEGO Batman 2 Vita and the console and PC versions. Gameplay wise, if you've ever played a game from the LEGO series, you know what you're getting here. A button mashing action game with some minor puzzle solving. The pillar of the gameplay is that each character has their own special moves and abilities, both in combat and puzzle solving. For instance, Sam can light fires or climb through tiny holes, whereas Gandalf can levitate giant objects. This is especially entertaining during the fellowship part of the game, as you have such a large party and using all the different characters and abilities to navigate an area is a joy. One tip I'd recommend is turning off the tips before going through the story mode though, as the game basically spells out exactly what to do and where to go step by default. The story mode takes you through the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, though not scene by scene, but it is of solid length and there's tons of extras to do. Once you complete the story mode, the game really opens up as the world becomes a giant hub, allowing you to teleport to any place and relive any battle or mission in both story mode and free play. Free play essentially allows you to take all of the characters you've unlocked into battle. This will allow you to gain access to areas you couldn't during the regular story mode, and to find all the treasures that the game has hidden in Middle-earth. As I said before, there's tons to do, like the character creator, or finding certain gifts for people, to unlocking all the numerous characters and character sets that are found throughout the game. It adds a good amount of replay value, and completionists should have a field day trying to track all this stuff down, as the game is begging to be played twice. The game also features a theater mode where you can relive all the in-game cinematics from a menu instead of having to replay the level. This is a nice added touch, especially on the Vita. If you ever want to see Gandalf do his "You shall not pass" in all his LEGO glory, it's simply one click away. The controls in the game are clumsy. I would have loved to have more desire to switch back and forth between a ranged and melee character to take out an enemy, but the precision just isn't there. I generally found that I do more harm than good, and would go back to sticking with one single character. This is offset by the fact, however, that there's virtually no death penalty, and there's never a game over screen, so I mainly just give an eye roll instead of experiencing true frustration. LEGO Lord of the Rings Vita features multiplayer also, but it's only in 2-player ad hoc mode. Since I'm the only person I know that owns a Vita, I was unable to test it out to see how it works. Graphically, the cinematics in LEGO Lord of the Rings look great for a LEGO title. They're crisp and sharp. The game does a great job of hitting all of the high notes in the cinematics, keeping them short and getting back to the gameplay, and letting your fondness for the movies fill in all the gaps. In terms of gameplay graphics, I don't expect much from a LEGO title, but what I do expect is a solid frame rate. This is where the title disappoints, as there's considerable slowdown in multiple areas. It feels as though the game isn't optimized for the Vita. None of it is by any means game breaking, it's just disheartening, and it happens enough that it's worth mentioning for all the purists out there. A special note should be given to the audio and the soundtrack, as both are licensed from the movie and they sound great, especially the voiceovers. LEGO Lord of the Rings is successful based on the fact that it tries to connect you with the movies. The added voiceovers seamlessly bring the whole thing together in one big nostalgic package. As great as the voices are, it has the negative side effect that the typical LEGO humor is now only done through visual cues. This makes the game far less laugh-out-loud funny, and more of just a spiritual, light-hearted retelling of the story. Overall, LEGO Lord of the Rings is my favorite LEGO game to date. Most of that is the subject matter. When you have a property of such lore, characters, and filled with so many high moments, you really just have to make sure you don't screw it up. The gameplay plays it safe, and it sticks to the formula, but they certainly don't screw it up. The majority of you with access to other platforms, and those especially with an interest in multiplayer, should consider waiting a couple weeks and seeing how the different versions shake out. Especially the PC version, which is $10 cheaper than the Vita version, and half the price of the consoles at launch. If you're not a fan of the LEGO series, or you're not a big fan of the movies, you can safely pass on LEGO Lord of the Rings. There's nothing game-changing here, and if you're not a fan of the originals, you're certainly not going to be a fan now. For the rest of you who are like me, and are probably far more likely to play and enjoy LEGO Lord of the Rings on the mobile platform, regardless if it's the inferior version or not, just know that while the game doesn't take any great risks or deviate from the platform, it's still fun to play, and it does a great job connecting with the subject matter, and it offers a ton of content and replayability.